Okay, welcome everyone. This Mishnah looks very scary and long, but it's not a hard Mishnah. It just happens to be long, and wants to give us more schar for Motzi Tisha B'Av. We're sponsored by the Fisher family, L'Nishmas Basi Bas Rabbi, Shlomo ben Avam Alevi, Perel Bas Ruven, and Shama should have an Aliyah. Thank you, Yitzi. We're also sponsored by Nishmas Dav ben Chaim, L'Fush Leima for Yomis Mechaisar, Yaakov ben Bas Yaleah for the schus of Avram and Yomis Benish ben Malchi Yudas. We're sponsored by Yod Klugman and family for their Panos Gzunta Nachas. We sponsored L'Fush Leima for Moshe Meir ben Esther Fradel, for Abigdor Aya ben Rivka, Hinda Bas Chaya Sarah, Chana Bas Shoshabina, Rivka Bas Shira Leah, and Yitzhak ben Tzir ben Dusha, and Meir ben Chaya Sarah. They should have a refuah shalema b'sech shachar Yisrael. So chatas oif shemalaka shaloi lishma. A chatas oif. Remember, chatas has to be chatas and Pesach cannot be shaloi lishma. So a chatas oif shemalaka shaloi lishma. If you did the malika, where you put the thumbnail through the nape of the neck, severing one of the simanim, if it was done shaloi lishma, or mitzah dama shaloi lishma, or you pressed the blood onto the mizbeach shaloi lishma, or lishma v'shaloi lishma, or adulterated kavana, where you do both lishma and shaloi lishma first and then lishma, psula, it's possible. Now, oila saif, like a regular oila, is not possible if done shaloi lishma. It's just not oila l'baylim l'shem chayva. So oila saif kasher, even though it was done shaloi lishma, or bavad shaloi also l'baylim. L'baylim have to bring another one. They don't fulfill their requirement. Now, echad chata saif. Now we're going to learn about pigel. Remember, pigel is if you have a machshava of chutz l'zmanai. Puzzle is if you have a machshava of chutz l'mekayim. So now let's apply that. Echad chatas saif, v'echad oila saif, both the bird sin offering and the burnt offering of the bird. Shemalakam, that you did the malika of a shemitza daman, or you pressed the blood. Lechel davar shedarka lechel, to eat something that's normally eaten, that's by an oila, or lahakter davar shedarka lahakter, or to smoke up that which is smoked up, which is true both by an oila and a chatas. Chutz l'mekayma, if you had in mind to do it outside of its permitted place, it's possible. Ve'ein by kares. If you had in mind to do it chutz l'zmanai, after its time, pigel v'chayav and olav kares, but you have to have done everything else correctly. As long as you did everything else properly. Now, Ketzad Karav Amatik Mitzvah. So where is it where you did everything else properly? Malak B'shtika. You didn't have any kavan in the Melika. Or Mitzah Adam Chutz L'zman. And you pressed the blood with a machshava to eat it or smoke it up after its time. Or Shemalak Chutz L'zman. Or Mitzah Adam B'shtika. Or you did both of them with the kavan of Chutz L'zman. Or Shemalak Mitzah Adam Chutz L'zman. That's where you didn't have any other kavana, a psul. So you did everything else right except for the machshava of chutz l'zmanai. So there it would be pickle and an issa kares. Ketzad loy karav amatik mitzvah. So what's an example where you didn't do everything else right? Oh, malak chutz l'mekayma. You did the malika with a machshava to do it outside of its place, and then umitza adam chutz l'zmanai. You press the blood with a machshava pickle. You did the malika with a pig of machshava umitzadam chutz l'mekaymai and pressed it with a machshava of chutz l'mekaymai. Shemalak umitzadam chutz l'mekaymai, which again is not a machshava pigel. Or chatas ha'oif shemalaka shaloi l'shma. So you had a different psul. You did a malika shaloi l'shma, which is a psul by chatas umitzadam chutz l'zmanah, even though you pressed it with a machshava of kares. You did the malika with a machshava pigel, but a mitzah dama shaloi l'shma, but you pressed the blood with a psul shaloi l'shma, so that's already a different psul. Mitzah dama shaloi l'shma, and not a machshava pigel. Zeu shaloi karav amatik mitzvah, say it's puzzled, but there's no issa kares. Lechol kazayis bechutz v'kazayis machar. Oh, you had an adulterated machshava. You did the malika to eat a kazayas outside and a kazayas tomorrow. or kizayis l'macha, kizayis tamar, kizayis b'chutz, or kechatzi zayis b'chutz, v'kechatzi zayis l'macha. So you didn't have a full zayis of pigel, of chutz l'zmanai. Or kechatzi zayis l'macha, v'kechatzi zayis b'chutz. All of these cases are possible v'ein boikaris, because there's another psul of shalai l'shma besides the psul of chutz l'zmanai. Or there's not a full kazayas of chutz l'zmanai, or you had together also a kazayas of chutz l'mekaymai. Now Rabbi Yehuda argues. It's interesting. Rabbi Yehuda argues, and Rabbi Yehuda says that if you had the machshava pigel first, it locks it into kares. And then if you have a machshava of chutz l'mekaymai afterwards, a shalai l'shma afterwards, it doesn't detract. Rabbi Yehuda Zaklal, im machshavas hazman kodma l'machshavas hamakam. If the machshava of pigel precedes the machshava of chutz l'mekaymai, that locks it into an isakaros. You can't remove the isakaros. Pigel v'chayavan of karos. But the im machshavas hamakam kodma l'machshavas hazman. If the machshava of chutz l'mekaymai, which is a psul, comes before the machshava of pigel, possible v'ein by karos. The Chacham say even if the machshava of pigel is first, but if you have another psul like shaloi l'shma or chutz l'mekaymai, that takes away the isser karos. Zev is a puzzle v'ein by karos, even though the isser of chutz l'mekaymai or shaloi l'shma comes after the machshava of pigel. Then this is a din that we learned already, that achilas mizbeach and achilas b'nei adam are not mitzvah. If you had in mind lechol kechatzi zayis, to eat chutz l'zmanai a half a zayis, ulahaktir kechatzi zayis, and to smoke up on the altar a half a zayis chutz l'zmanai, kosher. Why? She'ein achila v'aktorah mitzdarfen. Even though they're both consumptions, but the consumption of humans is not mitzdarf to the consumption of the mizbeach. And now we start the 7th parak of Zevachim. Unbelievable. How we're moving along over here. Let's see, how many prakim are there in Zevachim? 13 prakim. Oh no, there's more. Oh, I didn't realize that. 14 prakim. But still, we're already halfway finishing Masechta Zevachim. Remember we said that there's a chut sikra, a red line, that bisects the height of the Mizbeach. Now, you're supposed to, unlike an animal, the chatas ha'oif is done lamata mechut hasikra. So chatas ha'oif she'osa lamata, the chatas ha'oif, where you did the blood application below the chut hasikra, kemaisei chatas, and you did it in the way that you're supposed to do with chatas. That means first spraying it from the body of the bird and then pressing it against the wall of the mizbeach. L'shem chatas, because chatas has to be l'shma, so you did it l'shem chatas ksheira. If you did it k'maisa chatas, with the procedure of the chatas l'shem oila, so that's shloi l'shma, so that's possible. Or k'maisa oila l'shem chatas, or you did it like an oila l'shem chatas, that means that he only squeezed the blood, but he didn't spray it from the bird. Or k'maisa oila l'shem oila, he did it in the manner of an oila, and he did it l'shem oila, which is surely no good because it's shaloi l'shma psula. Also, asa l'mayla, if he applied the above the chut hasikra, which is not supposed to be done by a chatas, k'maisa kulan, even if he did it in all the other varieties, he did it good, but he did it above the chut hasikra, psula, it's disqualified, because the chatas has to go, and it is indispensable, it has to go lamata mechut hasikra. We want to thank you for joining us. We want to remind you again, 8:35 tomorrow night. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening. Great to have everybody.